Yo guys, what is going on? Nickname is just Yellow, and today this Norwegian hardcore PC gamer is gonna talk about CSGO here and how we can be able to get more headshots. There's a lot of stuff to cover, but quickly about the gameplay though. So as you can see here, we are on the overpass, and this was a game in which I played with a couple of real life buddies and some subscribers and random stuff like that. So the skill range of our teammates and enemies were pretty fucking big and wide, you know, like all random people, but still. I was just playing casually, having a good time, practicing the map a little bit, and that is, so to speak, what we're gonna go through, because a thing that's very essential when I know a map is just, you know, a lot of the basic stuff that you need to know in order to be able to actually beat people. So that's what we're gonna talk about, so to speak, because it allows you to get more headshots, and, you know, that's what you should go for, because it eliminates the enemy faster. So how the hell do you do that kind of thing, and what makes me just, you know, get back into the zone after never playing a map or playing it almost, you know, just rarely? What makes me suddenly perform better at that map? So first thing first though is that I'm gonna, so to speak, with this video take it for granted that you people know a lot about the basics of CSGO. You know how the recoil system works, you know how all those kind of things work with a lot of the different guns and shit like that, and from there on out we're gonna take it one step further. So what you need to do is, with CSGO is to understand that there's a couple of mechanics, there's 3 key mechanics that will be affected or will be relevant at least whenever we talk about the subject of getting headshots. The first thing is going to be that CSGO, the maps in CSGO are not 100% flat. This means that you can't perfectly, you know, 10 out of 10 times aim at a spot and you will be able to get a headshot. Not only that, but your player models, they're moving in a weird way in which, like, depending on how you move and shit, where you look, if you look up and down and shit like that, your head is not going to be perfectly placed as well. So that in combination with maps not being completely flat, on top of that, like, maps will be, whenever you're outside and shit like that, like, depending on how far or close you are to walls and shit, the elevation will be different on top of everything as well. And lastly, I guess this is technically 4 points we're going through. Whenever you shoot guns and stuff like that, the bullets won't be perfect. Like, imagine your recoil as a cone in which moves with the spray if you spray. It's only as tight and solid as it can be if you're sitting down, and when you move, it will, like, move and stuff like that. But it only moves whenever you know, you're keeping the spray and shit like that. This ability means that also headshots are more difficult to get. But still, if you do a couple of very basic things, you'll be able to easier get headshots. So let's go through the actual minor facts that will allow this stuff to happen, shall we? So first thing first is to understand all the game mechanics. The second thing is to understand all the maps that you're playing on, like, know all nook and crannies of it. And from there on out, you need to understand the heat points of the map, for example, where people could or could not rush, where people could or could not peek. And from there on out, you need to understand, you know, how the aiming system works in terms of getting a big mouse pad and getting a low sensitivity. Because just pre-aiming, it has its values, and you can allow, like, it will allow you to, if you aim at head level, just to easily dink a guy when he's running around a corner, for example. But it won't really have too much value unless you know exactly where it could be, how far away you might need to aim in terms of where the enemy could be and how fast he will move and all that kind of shit. Like, it's a fucking synergy of just a lot of fucking bullshit you need to do at the same time in order to be able to get the headshots, and they're always different at different case scenarios and gunfights and shit like that. But if you just practice the game a fuck ton with all of these mechanics, you will infinitely eventually be able to get more headshots. As you can see there in the gunfight, the enemy took me there, fared straight, fucking dinked me right in the head because I was moving on that rail in which I move because my character model is set. And, you know, it paid off big time for him. He had the AK-47, he was aiming at the head level, even though I'm not sure if it was hurt still. He just dinked me, and, you know, that's a value, like, that's the total value of standing still, aiming at a spot, knowing just about exactly where the guy could come out and where his head will be at, and then you just shoot as soon as you see that head. Those things, though, for a noob-ish player, they require a lot of practice. I won't deny that, but eventually, when you play the map a lot and you understand all the areas in which enemies could be at, you work your aim, you work with the gear that you have, you'll be able to get more consistent. It do require a lot of grind, and I will not lie. Like, even though, again, my initial rank in CSGO was Nova 4, I did not take any shortcuts in order to learn these abilities. The reason for why I was already, when I left Call of Duty, able to beat 90% of all the enemies I met ever. They were not because of how I set up my setup, but it was because of how smartly I took my gunfights. I played by my favor of the map every fucking time, and if I knew that there was an enemy out there, I would not go out there. I might bait him, I might try and flank him, I might try and pre-aim him perfectly and then shoot at him. Here and there it would work. I was not super consistent, but it taught me a lot of the essential of how to take gunfights, where to pre-aim, where to look, and just being able to, you know, count in between all of these things. Obviously, in Call of Duty, you don't have too much recoil. You do have recoil, and it's annoying, and you gotta play by the gun's abilities in that sense, and you can't just spray completely either, because then the guns get less accurate. But there's a lot of stuff that you still can do in order to be able to elevate your game, despite how simple a couple of the guns are. So, you know, the only way to learn those kind of things is to play the games a fuck ton and just get through a lot of gunfights. Even if it makes you fucking furious, you should just do it. The reason for this is because it will strengthen your mental game, it will give you more aiming practice, and infinitely you'll be able to do a lot more crazy shit as the game progresses, on top of being able to just do gunfights better. It requires a fuck ton of practice, but you know, me, I've killed over 2,500,000 people in Call of Duty. Of course I know how to do the gunfights, and of course it will be random and depending on maps and games and mechanics and gear and case scenarios and mentalities and all this kind of bullshit. It will all look different at different places, different times, but that's one of the many fucking skills in CSGO that are just incredibly difficult in order to be able to, you know, learn and master. As a guy disconnects there, but not anymore. And you know, like, if there's anything that you should take from this, is that you should just fucking play the game a shit ton. Try and emulate what people who are doing something good are doing. Do you have a sick, good teammate? Look at what he did and what works. If you have a really good enemy that kills you all the fucking time, try and notice the details. Eventually, with practice, you'll be able to get those headshots that you're looking for, and if you know how to spray effectively, you can easily spray down enemies. You'll see that happen a million times in my gameplay. If you think CSGO is a boring fucking game, you're a goddamn stupid idiot. And the amount of smaller details that goes into gunfights in CSGO and in shooting games, you have no faint idea how satisfying it is, but also how advanced it is, which is why I enjoy CSGO a lot more than Call of Duty, even though, again, I came from Call of Duty. So, hopefully this taught you people a lot. Practice makes perfect. If you want to support the YouTube channel, that would mean a lot to me and everybody else who enjoy and has subscribed already. So we got Patreon for that. You guys are the real MVP. There's a lot of rewards on the page and stuff like that. Other than that, I got a Twitter page and I got a Facebook page. You should follow those if you have not already. That was a weird way to say it. Anyways, nickname is Yellow. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day, and don't get beastified when you play.